Welcome, 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 everyone. We're so excited to have you today for our building business credit using your EIN. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to spend this time with us. So give yourselves a pat on the back for taking your first step towards learning about building business credit. That's right. Pat yourself on the back, give yourself a high five. Yes, this is the journey of getting started to building your business credit and making your business grow, leveraging your finances by using other people's money. How exciting is that? I am Coach Sean. Let me tell you a little bit about myself outside the fact that of the obvious that I'm a business credit coach as well as a personal credit coach. I love sports and problem solving. I'm a go-getter and an educator. But the most important fact about me is that I am fueled by helping others to create wealth as well as I love Skittles. Who doesn't love Skittles? So let me walk you through what we will be covering today along our journey. The three main things that we're going to cover: ways to establish initial business credit, vendors who can help you and how to get approved, and lastly, how to obtain revolving credit cards, fleet cards, and cash while building your business, all without using your personal social security number. Sounds exciting? It absolutely is, but let's just make sure that this webinar is for you. Are you looking for money to grow your business? Have you been denied financing? What's the blueprint? Do you want to know the blueprint to get away from personal guarantees? What's a personal guarantee? That's that social security number that we're talking about. This webinar is definitely for you if you want your business to fund itself. And lastly, if you want the most money at the best terms, then you are in the right place because this webinar is definitely for you. So let's get started. What exactly is business credit and why is it important? Well, I'm glad that you asked that. Business credit is definitely different from personal credit. Business credit is the ability of a business to qualify for financing. Businesses, just like people, have credit reports and scores. So a strong business credit score can help you secure better interest rates, loans, and eliminate the need for you to prepay for specific products or services that you may need within your industry. In the long run, this is going to help you save money, keep your cash flow liquid, and give you assets for other assets that you may need to help your business grow. But just like personal credit, if you don't have business credit, or if your business credit is bad, it's going to limit your ability to secure financing. And so that's why we are here to help you. So far, hopefully everyone is in the right webinar. If you're not, it's okay, stay, because you may decide that you want to establish a business down the road and you will know where to begin. So I've been asked many times before, Coach Sean, I have an EIN. Does that mean that I have established credit? The answer is no. Is my business fundable? Just because you have an EIN? The answer is no. Can I apply for a loan at the bank? Well, the answer is yes. But it doesn't mean that you are going to get approved. The other question is that's going to correlate with the question about applying for a loan is, doesn't mean that I have to provide a personal guarantee, that I don't have to provide a personal guarantee. That is also incorrect. Just because you have an EIN does not mean that you won't have to provide a personal guarantee. And why is that? It's because You are not fundable. This is why people fail at building business credit. It's because they don't understand the process. They try the banks first and then they're turned down. They apply for accounts in the wrong order. They don't know which vendors to apply with. These are the three major reasons why people fail at building business credit. And that's why Credit Sense is here to help you. We want to help you succeed with building business credit. The first thing that we want to do is we're going to teach you the foundations and the fundamentals. For instance, if you grew up and you know all about Legos, you know that Legos need a foundation. You can't start building at the top. You have to start building at the bottom, because the bottom is what sustains everything that you're working towards. And just like building business credit, you have to have the foundation. What are some of those foundations? You have to have trade lines. You have to establish a credit profile. And lastly, you need to make sure that you have obtained a business credit score or a paydex score. And when you have established business credit profile, which is a combination of all of these and a score, you can then get started building towards retail and cash credit, which is going to be the ultimate goal for your business. So, what are some of the benefits of business credit? Regardless of your personal credit score, you can get approved. That's the number one benefit. The second benefit is there's no personal guarantee required or credit inquiry reported to your personal credit score. You can get approved up to 10 to 100 times more than you would get approved if you use your consumer credit amount. So if you got approved for $1,000 for your consumer credit account, with a business credit, you can get $10,000 versus that $1,000. That's the power of business credit. Also, it separates your consumer from your commercial credit report. It also helps you to establish credibility for lenders, suppliers, and credit issuers, which is so important when you're trying to establish business credit. And there's no collateral or cash flow requirements when you're building it the way that we're going to show you. Now, some of you are saying, Coach Sean, I don't need business credit because I use my personal credit to fund my business. Well, here's why you don't want to do that. Banks minimize their risk by having businesses provide a personal guarantee for their business debts. We saw this. We saw this with a lot of different businesses. And then when COVID hit, so many people had backed up their businesses using personal guarantees. And then what happened when everything had to close, they weren't able to pay their business debts. But guess what? It didn't matter because they didn't use business credit. They used their personal credit. So their private assets are now able to be targeted. These means their bank accounts, their vehicles, stocks, land, homes, recreational vehicle, boats, things of that nature are now targeted because they can be used as collateral when you use your social security number or a personal guarantee. So these are the reasons why we try to get away from that. So what are the two ways of establishing initial credit, that foundation that we talked about? We want to look at the hybrid credit line and vendors. The hybrid credit line uses that personal credit or that PG that we talked about that a lot of businesses use because they don't know that they can establish credit without using their social security number. And using the hybrid credit line, it's basically a credit line that they can get up to $150,000 cash. Vendor credit, on the other hand, is not cash. However, This method is used to target vendors that will give startup businesses or businesses that don't have credit. It does not take your cash flow or your personal credit into account or impact your ability to get approved. However, you must use vendors that report to the credit reporting agency to build this business credit. So let's talk a little bit real quick about this hybrid credit line. You can get up to 150,000 credit line, like I indicated. You can take out cash. There's no collateral or cash flow requirements. However, the collateral is your social security number. So it does take into impact. It does have the ability to impact your personal assets if for some reason you can't pay it. So that's where your collateral / no collateral comes into play. Credit partners are welcome. It offers business and standard cards, and there is a funding fee that is rolled in as well on top of that $150,000. Now, vendor credit, totally separate. So instead of applying for the hybrid line, which is typically that Visa or MasterCard, you want to make sure that you get started this way, because you're not using that personal guarantee. And these trade lines are going to give you the initial credit that you need. They're typically the net 30 accounts instead of revolving accounts, which once again are your MasterCard, your Visa, your credit card type accounts. And if you're approved for $1,000, then you have to pay that back within the set term. Now, the net 30 accounts must be paid in full within 30 days, okay? And so that net 60 account has to be paid within the 60 days. Now, above here, I said you can get approved for $1,000, and the comma is in the wrong place. That's anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000, however amount you are qualified for. You have to pay that back within that set terms. And those terms are based on, once again, that net 30 or that net 60 account. If you want to start off right, you want to get approved using vendor accounts first. And you want to make sure that you're using vendor accounts that report to the credit agencies. This allows you to use credit, pay back what you have used, and have the account reported to the credit reporting agencies. Our overall goal is going to be 10 vendor accounts. However, you can begin applying for the next tier with 3 to 6 accounts. So once again, that number we wanted you to keep in mind is 10 vendor accounts. That's the magic number. So after you establish these accounts and you're paying them back responsibly, you're going to then begin to work on getting increases, because higher limits and higher increases are going to assure the banks and the credit providers that you are not a high credit risk. And these vendor accounts are another key to fundability, which is what we talked about earlier. Now, additionally, reported vendor accounts are going to provide you with some awesome things. Trade lines, an established credit profile, and an established credit score, which is that Paydex score that we were talking about. These are the things that are going to lead you to be able to get approved for retail credit and eventually cash credit. So this is such the awesome thing that if all of this is completed without a personal guarantee and you're simply using your EIN, then your credit profile can now stand on your own. So the next step is getting a vendor to approve me with just my EIN. So let's just talk about this. These are the different steps that we want to take. Most vendors will not require a social security number if you leave it. And if they do, you can leave it blank. That's right. Let me repeat that. Most vendors do not require a social security number. That's because they're dealing with businesses, and businesses have EIN numbers. If they do ask you for your social security number, you want to leave it blank. If you provide your social security number, the vendor will then make a decision based on your personal credit profile. So if you don't have good credit, you're not going to be approved. This means an inquiry will also be put on your personal profile, which you don't want. You only want so many inquiries on your personal credit. Now, that's getting into the personal credit aspect. And today we're talking about the business. However, if your personal credit is not where it needs to be, and it is subpar, below 700, then make sure that you get in touch with me so that I can still help you. As we build your business credit, we're going to also build your personal credit so that your business and you grow together. Okay. Now, here's a good tidbit of information that most people don't know. The law does not require a social security number be supplied on credit applications. However, if you put any number other than your social security number where your social security number is supposed to go, it is a felony. Okay. So this means that the vendor's decision is solely based on your credit score when you do not supply them with a social security number that you are not required by law to do. All of this is how you begin building that vendor credit and begin building advanced trade counts. So let's just talk about this. Getting initial credit is the hardest part. I know this. All of my clients that I'm currently working with know this, which is why they're my clients. And I help them. My organization, we work with you to help you build that initial business credit. And from there, it's only going up for you. And why is it so hard? It's simple. 93% of the vendors don't report to credit reporting agencies. That's why I keep saying, make sure that the company that you are using, the vendor that you are using, reports to the credit reporting agency. This is so important because it helps to ensure that your company is fundable. And you want your company to be fundable before applying. Other than that, you're going to end up being screwed and you're going to have to wait months for new accounts to report. So you want to do your homework early. And if you want to avoid all the homework, then you want to make sure that you get with us so that we can help get you started off right. Because remember, with any business, time is money. So rather than wasting a lot of time, get with us so that we can get you started right. So let me just give you a little bit of the details here. When we're establishing these advanced accounts, we've already talked about the vendor accounts. Once we get past the vendor accounts and we want to begin to move into the retail and the credit and the fleet and the cash tier, you have to have 5 vendor accounts in order to move to that next tier. Yes, y'all, there are tiers. There are levels to this. Like I told you with Legos, there's a foundation and then there are levels. And so we're going to help you with those levels. And so to get to the next level, past that vendor level, like I said, you're going to need 5 accounts. 5 is the minimum. Most require 5, but you remember that number 10? That's why we tell you have 10 accounts. Make sure you have those 10 accounts first. And do not apply for retail without having 5 reported accounts first, or you are going to get it denied. Secondly, it takes 30 to 90 days for reporting. That's because some report monthly, some report quarterly. So depending on how often your vendor reports is going to determine how often your credit profile is updated. So if you want to expedite this, you want to make sure that you are using vendors that report on a monthly basis. So here's a couple things that you need to know. You need 14 payment experiences to get cash credit from a Visa or a MasterCard. That's that retail or cash credit, okay? One of those experiences has to be $10,000 limit or higher. So if you have a 9,000, you do not qualify. You need a $10,000 limit or higher. And it pays to continually push for 10,000 or higher. Don't just settle for that 10,000 limit. Push for a higher limit. Don't just settle for one experience at 10,000. Push for multiple levels at multiple heights higher than 10,000, because that's the key to building strong business credit. Now, Coach Sean, what exactly is a payment experience? I've never heard that before in my life. What is that? It's simple. It's an account that is reported to the credit agency. So if you have a vendor that reports to Dun & Bradstreet and Experian, that counts as 2 payment experiences. However, if they only report to one of them, then it's only 1 payment experience. If they report to all 3 of the credit reporting agencies, then guess what? That one account has just given you 3 credit experiences. We say you need 14. So if you have 5 vendors that report to all 3 credit reporting agencies, you will have 15 payment experiences. You see how that works? So your payment experience is important. It's also good to know that many retailers are going to require time in business and revenue requirements. You may be saying, I haven't been in business that long. Well, I'm starting my business tomorrow. I just started my business last week. I can't qualify. I'm trying to tell you, don't allow this to discourage you. We understand the process. And if you follow the process that we lay out for you and you have the right number of accounts, you can get a manual review and still get approved despite the amount of time that you have been in business or your revenue requirements. The key is to get a high number of payment experiences. That's why we take the time to explain that to you. So let's talk about this vendor approval. Now that we've talked about payment experiences and understanding how to get to the next tier and what needs to happen, the foundation is the vendor approval. What's that process like? So for most vendors, the approval and reporting process is different. For starters, you want to visit the website of that vendor, and then you want to identify what it is exactly that you want, and then you want to place that in the cart. Once you place it in the cart, then you want to choose the invoice option at checkout. Once this is done, complete the checkout process without ever giving them your payment details, because remember, you have chosen the invoice option. You will know if you've been approved for this account simply when you get a shipment notice. That is going to tell you what you ordered and when it's going to be delivered. Here's my advice to you. This is very important advice, which is why I put it at the bottom of the slide. Pay your invoice immediately after receiving the shipment. This is going to help. So now we've talked about how to do it, what site I need to go through, how I need to request an invoice, all of that great stuff. But where exactly do I get started? So we're going to give you 2 vendors. Just for being on this webinar with us, we're going to give you the 2 vendors, the actual starting points. Brainer Industrial Supplies and Quill Office Supplies. Both of them report to Dun & Bradstreet. Both of them, you're going to need your EIN and DUN number. However, with Quill, you're going to need a PAYDEX score established. So you want to make sure that you start with Grainer first. Grainer will approve you up to $1,000 credit without trade and bank references. Quill will approve you for a net 30 account after you have purchased 3 months if you are not initially approved right off the bat based off of your paydex score that you have established. So those are the two that you want to make sure that you start with. So now I've just given you all of this great information. And you might be saying, that's great information. I can't do this alone. Coach Sean, how can Credit Sense help us? How can Credit Sense help me take my business to the next level by establishing business credit? Well, I'm glad that you asked, because this is what's going to happen. Our team will assist you. We're going to have business coaches and advisors to help you through the process. We're going to help you set up your name, your entity, your EIN if you have not already done so. We'll help you set up your address and business number. We're going to help you get your phone listed on a national level. We're going to help you set up your website, domain, and email addresses. We'll also help you set up bank and merchant accounts, setting up your business credit and your Dun Brad and your Experian and Equifax number. These are the things that's going to be needed to help set up business credit. We're going to help you with the Dun number. We're going to help you with the Experian and the information that you need for Equifax. But also, we're going to identify starter vendors. Instead of the 2 vendors that everybody on here got, we're going to go through and we're going to help you identify the 8 additional vendors that you need to help you get started. And then once we get to the point that you're at the next step, we're going to identify fleet and retail creditors that are not going to require a personal guarantee or a credit check. That's how we are going to help you. And because I'm so grateful that you took the time to sit on this platform, this webinar with us, we're going to give you 2 bonuses. The first bonus is going to be a no-cost business consultation. That means you're going to get the opportunity to sit down with me or one of my business coaches or advisors and talk about your business. We're going to give you a no-cost business consultation. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to give you a 30-minute business coaching call. That's right. We're going to give you an actual coaching call to help you get started and on your way. So what are you waiting for? Wait no longer. Let's start building your business credit today. Simply contact me for more information using the website listed here, or call or text the number listed below to set up your free consultation. Or if you watching this because you went onto our website, then I want you to go ahead and click the link that says schedule my consultation today. Let's launch my business. Let's get business credit started. Because guess what? Today is your day. Let's get started. Let's get going. Let's build your business by building your credit score. And we look forward to helping you grow. Thanks for taking the time to join us. We know you could have been anywhere and you chose to be with us. We look forward to seeing you on the other side and helping you grow.